Can you imagine drowning in molasses? Picture this. Boston 1919. The war's just ended, jazz is creeping into parlors and everyone's trying to figure out what Prohibition actually means. Now you'd think the craziest thing to hit the city would be flapper fashion or maybe a stolen horse cart. But nope. Boston had something way stickier in mind. Before we dive into this story, hit that like button, and if you're into wild history stories with a sugary twist, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's about to ooze your way. Alright, meet our villain. A 50-foot tall steel tank 90 feet wide, holding over 2 million gallons of molasses. That's enough to drown a football field knee-deep in syrupy doom. Built by the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, or USIA for short. This beast was meant to store molasses shipped up from the Caribbean before turning it into industrial alcohol. You know, for munitions and such. Totally normal. Thing is, this tank was built really fast. Like way too fast. Like they never properly tested it fast. It leaked from day one. Locals would literally collect molasses that dripped from the seams like some weird Willy Wonka gift from the gods. Instead of fixing it, they painted it brown. So no one would see the leaks. Genius, right? Boston's having an unseasonably warm day. About 40 degrees Fahrenheit warm after days of frigid cold. That's key. Inside the tank, the molasses is fermenting, building pressure and expanding. The tank groans. And then the tank ruptures with a roar louder than a freight train. A molasses tsunami, 25 feet high, comes crashing through the streets at 35 miles per hour. That's faster than a horse could run, if the horse wasn't suddenly swimming in treacle. Buildings were completely flattened. A firehouse was knocked off its foundation. Horses were swept away. One poor wagon horse was reportedly picked up by the wave and hurled into a lamppost. And people were screaming, running, stuck, literally like flies in jam. 21 people died, over 150 were injured. Rescue efforts were slow. As well, it was molasses. Some folks said it felt like the air itself was sticky. Rescuers had to wade waist deep through goo, and afterward, the cleanup took weeks. Boston reeked of sugar rot for months. Firemen had to hose down buildings with salt water. Even the harbor turned brown. It was a really sticky situation, pun intended. So, what went wrong? Well, turns out, shockingly, slapping together a giant tank without structural tests or safety inspections is a bad idea. USIA had cut corners big time. The steel was too thin. The seams were poorly riveted. They'd even ignored complaints from workers who heard groaning and rumbling before the collapse. In the court case that followed, one of the longest in Massachusetts history, USIA tried blaming anarchists. Seriously, they said maybe someone blew up the tank. But engineers and metallurgists proved the real culprit: greed and negligence. In the end, USIA paid over $600,000 in settlements. A massive sum back then. Equivalent to around $9 million today. Today, the Great Molasses Flood is a weird but true chapter in American history. There's even a plaque near Commercial Street that marks where the tank once stood. Locals say on hot summer days the smell of molasses still lingers. Is it true? Maybe it is. Or maybe history just has a sticky way of sticking around. Hey, sorry about that. So what do you think? Ever imagine death by pancake topping? Smash that like button if you made it through without getting stuck, and drop a comment if this was the weirdest disaster you've ever heard of. And hey, don't forget to subscribe for more stories where history gets weird.